Welcome, welcome. So recently I hit 10,000 subscribers. Oh my god. So I just want to thank you all so much for this, and honestly the support and reception for this channel over the past year has just been amazing and humbling. So I've just whipped up a very small video as thanks to you guys. So over the past couple of months I've gotten some requests to talk about mods. At this point, I'm not sure if I have the time to devote a regular segment for mods, but perhaps if there's enough interest in this, I can slowly start spotlighting some of my favorite Dragon Age mods. So to start, I've gathered what I believe to be the must-have mods when starting out with Dragon Age Origins. This is a very simple list, and it's just a fraction of what I have installed, but at the very least, the list gives you a good basis of what you will need to make your game start looking like it's not 10 years old. So without further ado, my favorite Dragon Age mods. 4GB patch. I'll be honest, if you want to download what is just in this video, you will not need this. But if you decided to download, say, a very large texture pack, this is 1000% necessary. But what is it? First, let's talk about how video games work. And by that, I mean how someone explained it to me at one point, so I hope I am getting this correct. When you play Dragon Age Origins or any video game, everything you see on screen is kept in the game's memory. This memory can be filled up, but it pretty much never happens when you just play in vanilla. But if you add a lot of textures or new things to load, suddenly Dragon Age Origins' very small memory begins to get overwhelmed and things don't load in or loads improperly. This mod expands Dragon Age Origins' memory so that doesn't happen as often. In theory, you can have enough mods where this patch stops working, but I have a ton, an absolute ton of mods, and this has just made everything run smoothly. I've had absolutely no problems with it. So for right now, get it. Make console commands visible. Even if you don't want to be a dirty cheater like I am, I still recommend getting this. If you end up getting really into modding, some mods you actually need to use the console commands to start working. Other times, a mod you get ends up breaking the game and you have to fix it using console commands. Get this mod early because at the very least, it's better to already have it than when you're frustrated that something broke. Also keep in mind that the console isn't automatically turned on when you just download the game. It depends if you have the Origin or the Steam version, which you can find in the DAO wiki on how to load it up. It's pretty easy actually, but also set that up. No helmet hack. This is honestly the first mod I ever added to Dragon Age Origins because the helmets are so ugly. I didn't spend hours in Character Creator to look at an awful hat, especially if you're a mage. This lets you wear helmets but not see the awful hats around the game. I will say that there is one instance of this sort of breaking the immersion in the game during the Dwarf Commoner opening, and you can actually turn this mod off in-game. So all you have to do is, before you get into that proving, just turn off the mod and you're all good, and you can turn it back on later. It's really easy to use. Get the mod. Mad gift guide. So if you pay attention, the game does tell you what everyone likes as a gift. It's just annoying to do so, and if you don't read the codex entries, you're never going to come across it. So this mod is super easy to use as an alternative. Just mouse over the item and it tells you who it belongs to, if anybody. While they do have a version for Awakening, which is super nice, for some reason they never did one for Stone Prisoner or the Feast Day Gifts and Pranks. It's super easy to tell Shale's gift because it just says Remarkable in front of it. And for the Feast Day Gifts and Pranks, you can't actually give a gift to someone if it belongs to someone, so just trial and error in it and it'll be fine. Personal Annoyance Remover. How many times has a cutscene been ruined because of rock armor or some weird looking status effect? Well, no more. I absolutely love this because you can see the effect starting out when you first turn it on, but then it just goes away. Poof, I don't have to worry about it turning on anymore during the dramatic plot points and romance scenes. SJC's Patchy Skin Fix. Have you ever tried to play a darker skinned character in Dragon Age Origins only to be met with this strange patchy marks on your cheeks? Here is a fix for that. I will say for the most part, it's sort of unnoticeable if you only use the vanilla tints, sort of, you can kind of make it out. But if you mod in darker skin colors, the patchiness gets awful. It's so noticeable and bad. But so if you want a darker skin tone, you need this mod. Dwarf female proportions fix and elf female proportions fix. Have you ever noticed how long female dwarves' arms are? Or how broad the elven female shoulders are? No? Well, prepare to never look at it the same way again. This fixes the awful proportions, and although it does have problems of its own, like the dwarven female's hands look a bit stumpy now, I vastly prefer the strange hands over the long arms any day. Another downside to this mod is that it only works for vanilla armors. A lot of modded armors also have patches for this mod, so it's not that huge of a deal, but it is something to keep in mind when downloading things. Unique face textures for companions. Now, I don't normally consider face textures to be a must-have, but my god, whoever created the original faces for Morrigan and Liliana need to be stopped. Okay, I will admit that Liliana is the worst in the world, but Morrigan, my dear, what happened to you? But yeah, the textures in this mod bring both of them back to a little bit closer to their Inquisition looks. While there are mods that make them look exactly like they do in Inquisition, to me this is just closer to what they would have looked like 10 years prior. I also like that they kept the face shapes, but really only added the textures. The other face textures in this mod also look great as well, keeping the party close to what they normally look like or how they're described to look later on in the series. I actually use a good majority of these face textures of this mod. I think the only one I don't use right now is Sten's. I'm also thinking of changing Alistair's, but for right now, this is a really good one. Probably the most drastic change is actually Loghain, considering the brightness of his eyes. But in the Dragon Age novels, it does describe him as having very piercing eyes, so I find it very fitting and I like it a lot. But overall, companion morphs are a very personal thing. While I would recommend these for at least Morrigan, it's up to you to find your favorite. And that's it. Even with just these small changes, I think it really helps update the game in a way that feels more modern. So if you skipped out playing Dragon Age Origins because of how dated it looked, please give mods a chance. It can really just change the entire game. Going forward, if you do want me to go over and review my favorite mods or just mods that you're interested in, let me know. I can't promise I start a series, or if I do, it being very soon, but I'm always looking for more ways to overburden myself with Dragon Age. And with that, Dara Shiral.